Hello everyone, what's your face again? In my Pokemon form, and today we'll be doing part 6 of my reaction to Timeline 2005 in Professional Wrestling. So I guess this part 4, go watch that before you watch this one, but this will be part 5. So hope you see it, if you guys could pick this up, hit the subscribe button, turn notifications, and let's get started.
July to help beef up the stagnant division. August 13th. CM Punk departs from Ring of Honor after losing to then-friend Colt Cabana in a 2 out of 3 falls match in the main event of Punk, the Final Chapter, before 1,200 fans in Chicago. The card ends with a tearful farewell to Punk, who, true to character, toasts everybody with a Pepsi. August 14th. TNA keeps the train rolling toward its Spike TV debut with Sacrifice in Orlando. The best bout of the night sees Samoa Joe defeat AJ Styles in the finals of the Super X Cup tournament. In the main event, Jeff Jarrett and Rhino defeat Raven and Sabu in a decidedly hardcore brawl. Rhino pins the NWA World Champion himself, much to the chagrin of Jarrett, who would have earned a title bout himself if he had pinned Raven. On the same night, Masahiro Chono defeats Kazuyuki Fujita to win the G1 climax for a record-extending 5th time, solidifying his nicknames of Mr. G1 and Mr. August. August 15th. Who's your daddy, Montreal? A heel-turned Shawn Michaels masterfully trolls Montreal during an episode of Raw, playing with the crowd's general distaste toward him and even faking them out by having Bret Hart's entrance music play. It's arguably Michaels' finest professional moment that doesn't involve him actually doing any wrestling. On the same date, Ashley Massaro wins the 2005 WWE Diva Search. 4th place finisher Crystal Marshall is eventually hired by WWE as well. August 18th. Chris Cash, a former CZW Tag Team Champion, passes away at the age of 23 as a result of injuries sustained in a motorcycle accident. CZW will pay tribute to Cash with an annual event entitled Down with the Sickness, named for the Disturbed song that was Cash's entrance theme. The event generally centers around a ladder match, a specialty of Cash's. August 21st. One of the most unusual SummerSlams ever plays out before 18,000 fans at Washington, D.C.'s MCI Center. And it turns out to be the second most bought SummerSlam of all time, behind only 1998. The main event sees Hulk Hogan defeat Shawn Michaels in a match notorious for Michaels taking over-exaggerated bumps off of Hulk's strikes. Hogan reportedly refused to lay down for Michaels in this match or any future match they had, so HBK clowns the Hulkster en route to the finish. Elsewhere on the card, Edge defeats Matt Hardy via stoppage in a match with some clearly unpulled punches, while Chris Benoit beats Orlando Jordan in 25 seconds to win the US title. And Rey Mysterio wins a somewhat muddled ladder match over Eddie Guerrero to retain legal custody of his son Dominic, or as WWE calls it, Sunday. August 22nd. One day after failing to beat John Cena for the WWE title at SummerSlam, Chris Jericho loses to Cena once more on Raw, having wagered his employment in the process. Indeed, Jericho genuinely leaves WWE after the match, citing burnout and a yearning to take on other projects. Y2J won't return for over 2 years. August 27th. Another Wrestle Reunion card is held, this one before 900 fans in Philadelphia. The main event sees the newly christened Team 3D defeat Rhino and Matt Hardy. The bout is 3D's first match since leaving WWE, while it's Hardy's last indie obligation before returning to WWE full-time. The same day, Nigel McGuinness wins the Ring of Honor Pure title from Samoa Joe in Buffalo. McGuinness will go on to reign with the belt for 350 days. August.
Support your neighborhood and your team with every DoorDash order.
Switch to Verizon for just $25 a line, guaranteed for 3 years. The savings that last on the network you want. Verizon.
29th. WWE Day of Reckoning 2 is released for Nintendo GameCube. Improved graphics and a strategy-based submission system make for a much more realistic wrestling experience. In fact, probably the only unrealistic aspect of the game is Stacy Keibler wanting to be your created character's girlfriend in story mode. You big loser. September 1st. Deep South Wrestling holds its first card in front of 160 fans in McDonough, Georgia. The six-match card features Mike Mizanin, the future Miz, Deacon DeVille, the future Doc Gallows, and Ryan Reeves, the future Skip Sheffield. September
AKA
9th.
right back.
WWE SmackDown debuts in its new Friday night time slot on UPN. The initial broadcast is somewhat halved by a multi-network benefit concert being held for victims of Hurricane Katrina. So the first hour of SmackDown is exclusive to WWE.com, while the second hour airs on UPN. That second hour includes Eddie Guerrero defeating Rey Mysterio in a steel cage match, while World Heavyweight Champion Batista beats JBL in a bull rope match. September 11th. On the whole, TNA Unbreakable in Orlando is one of the company's more inconsistent efforts, but the main event more than makes up for an average undercard. The final bout sees AJ Styles win the X Division title in a triple threat over Christopher Daniels and Samoa Joe, in what many laud as the greatest match in TNA history. Elsewhere on the card, Abyss beats Sabu in a no DQ match, Austin Aries defeats Generation Next teammate Roderick Strong, and Raven retains the NWA World title over Rhino in a Ravens Rules match. September 12th. 9 months after winning the contest, $1 Million Tough Enough winner Daniel Puder is released from WWE. Reports indicate that success quickly went to Puder's head, and he gets duly humbled during the 2005 Royal Rumble match by Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, and Bob
I remember
Holly.
that.
Puder disappears from the main roster after the Rumble and spends the summer months in OVW before getting cut. September 15th. Jeff Jarrett regains the NWA World title from Raven at a Border City Wrestling card in Windsor, Ontario, promoted by heel TNA manager Scott D'Amore that's heavy on TNA performers. Late in the match, Chris Harris and James Storm of America's Most Wanted align with Jarrett by turning heel and costing Raven his title. September 17th. Bryan Danielson defeats James Gibson to win the Ring of Honor World title after a 32-minute battle at Glory by Honor 4 on Long Island. September 18th. Ric Flair competes the unlikeliest Triple Crown in WWE history when the 56-year-old defeats Carlito to win the Intercontinental title at Unforgiven before 8,000 fans at the Ford Center in Oklahoma City. Perhaps more unlikely, Flair actually hit a top rope move during the match. Also on the card, Matt Hardy defeats Edge in a steel cage match, a face once more Shawn Michaels beats Chris Masters, and Kurt Angle defeats WWE Champion John Cena by DQ. September 21st. 2 months after last appearing for WWE, Muhammad Hassan is released. The 23-year-old quickly went from being penciled in for a World Heavyweight title reign to leaving the business altogether. Outside of 3 indie matches in 2018, the real-life Mark Capani has focused much of his post-WWE life on education, becoming a history teacher and later a junior high school principal. September 27th. WWE releases the controversial Self-Destruction of the Ultimate Warrior DVD. The documentary comes to be viewed as a one-sided hit piece, as various personalities of WWE's past rail on Warrior for reasons that range from fair to petty. The former Jim Hellwig himself does not participate in the production. October 1st. TNA Impact premieres on Spike as a 1-hour program. Team 3D make their TNA debuts on the broadcast as part of a wild brawl involving Jeff Jarrett, Kevin Nash, and several tag teams and factions. The episode was taped with the 2 other shows 4 nights earlier, and Team 3D weren't the only ex-WWE stars that debuted. Gail Kim will arrive on the 2nd Spike episode, aligning with Jarrett and America's Most Wanted. The same night, Kenta Kobashi defeats Samoa Joe in a critically acclaimed war at a Ring of Honor event in New York City. The match contains a memorable sequence in which Kobashi chops Joe in machine gun-like fashion, delivering around 100 total strikes and greatly discoloring Joe's skin in the process. October 3rd. Monday Night Raw returns to the USA Network after a 5-year absence, hosting a special 3-hour homecoming broadcast before 14,000 fans in Dallas. A number of legendary figures appear through the night to go along with some pay-per-view caliber matches. Shawn Michaels and Kurt Angle go to a draw in a 30-minute Iron Man match. Edge defeats Matt Hardy in a ladder match to banish his rival from Raw, and Triple H makes his return after a 3-month sabbatical, turning on Ric Flair after a tag team bout. Oh, and Steve Austin beats up all the McMahons, giving Linda the worst stunner a McMahon would ever take until 2022 anyway. Though Raw returns to USA, it's the only existing WWE program that makes the move back from Spike. Secondary shows Heat and Velocity become internet exclusives, though USA Network will broadcast a condensed version of Raw titled AM Raw on Saturday mornings. October 8th. Amid legal issues between Brock Lesnar and WWE over the terms of the non-compete agreement he signed upon leaving the company in 2004, the heavyweight star debuts for New Japan. In his first match with the company, Lesnar defeats Kazuyuki Fujita and Masahiro Chono at the Tokyo Dome to win the IWGP.
Okay, thanks for watching. If you guys like this video, give this video a big thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications, and leave a comment. Subscribe to your channel by saying thing, and yeah. Guys, again, I'm almost close to 520 subscribers. 520 subscribers, that's a lot. Before you go, I really appreciate it. Begin. Just go and show my goal, reach 1,000 subscribers. 4,000 people watching. So where you go, I really appreciate it. Again, these videos will help you guys. I love you guys so much for all your support. I always say, and I always mean. And yeah. Also, if you guys want to watch this video, it was made by Cultahoilc Wrestling. Put the link to their video down in the description. But yeah, tired. Alright guys, there you go. Thank you so much for watching. Please like this video, leave a comment, subscribe for more, and I'll catch you guys for later for part 6 on my reaction to Timeline 2005 in professional wrestling. Alright guys, there you go. Goodbye, and have a good day or night.